We open on the Gilmore's latest Friday night dinner, where Richard and Emily are discussing the not at all morbid topic of dividing up the heirlooms the girls want when they die.
Apparently we're creepy.
Yes, well, you live and learn.
As Lorelai and Rory begin humouring this request from the grandparents, they discuss the subject of Rory's upcoming birthday, which, unfortunately for them, is set to take place the following Friday. This factor, and their Chiltern arrangement, leads to Emily wishing to organise the celebratory party herself.
So come here and we'll have a little party. Friday nights are my nights. That's what we agreed on when you borrowed money for her school. The rules haven't changed.
Something which Lorelai naturally doesn't approve of.
Mom, I didn't intend for this loan to become a constant source of blackmail.
So she puts her foot down and says no, and the planning for this party will be done by her.
So, how would you like 2 parties this year?
Maybe not then. The main reason Lorelai is opposed to Emily being in charge of this celebration is down to Lorelai's own experiences with these types of parties that her parents would throw, and the fact that they were basically more for them than they were for a teenager. However, something happened during Friday night dinner that gives Lorelai hope. Something that to others would seem fairly insignificant.
It's dessert.
It's pudding. You don't like pudding.
Yes, but you like pudding.
Oh, I love pudding. I worship it.
Emily has up until this point shown herself to be quite stubborn and set in her ways, likely to turn her nose up on anything that doesn't suit her. So, this small change to their dinner, serving something that she usually disapproves of, but does it because she knows Lorelai and Rory will like it, might just be the first step towards the family preparing to make compromises in order to bond.
Or some expensive form of pudding, but nonetheless, it was pudding. That would mean that she actually made a mental note that we liked pudding, which would mean she actually listened to something other than the judgmental conga line going on in her head.
Unfortunately, throughout the episode, we'll see that this is very much a case of a 1 step forward, 2 steps back kind of plan. As while at school, Rory is shocked to discover Emily seemingly has invited all of her classmates to the party, obviously theorising that they would be friends. Sadly, that is far from the case.
I'll see you Friday, birthday girl.
On the positive side, though, Emily decides to reach out to Lorelai asking for her support on buying a gift for Rory, something she would actually need or want.
Help me buy her something for her birthday.
You're serious?
According to you, I'm always serious.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And by extension, this gives her an opportunity to spend time with her daughter, which is a good thing too, as we see the contrasting lifestyles of Lorelai and her mother, as they argue over what would be appropriate for a teenager.
You serious? We're shopping for Rory.
No, Mom, I'm shopping for Rory. You're shopping for your imaginary granddaughter, Barbara Hutton. Just look around and pick up something you think she might like.
Eventually, though, Emily is able to find something Rory would like, and the two share a sweet moment.
Good choice.
Oh, it lights up.
At Luke's, still bothered by Emily's decision to invite her not particularly nice school peers, Rory plans to discuss the issue with her mother. Although, with all the attempts Emily seems to be making to actually get on with Lorelai and how seemingly happy her mother is, Rory takes the noble choice to bite the bullet in order to upset this ceasefire of sorts.
Never getting along, and now suddenly they're getting along. And I knew that if I told Mom about the invite, she'd wig out and call Grandma, and that would be the end of the pudding.
Oh, speaking of Luke's.
Okay, Burger Boy, dance.
Will you marry me?
What?
What?
Just looking for something to shut you up.
What?
Oh, you bastards, you knew exactly what you were doing there. In all fairness, though, Luke is finally getting more of a presence and active role in the series. We even get to see his paternal affection to Rory in this episode.
Wrong table.
Since when is there a right table?
Since the coffee cake I baked for you and the stupid balloons I blew up are at that table over there.
In his own gruff way, of course.
Aw, Luke, you old softy.
I count to 3, it's gone.
The morning of Rory's birthday arrives, and we get this really sweet scene between her and her mother.
So do I look older?
Oh, yeah. You walk into Denny's before 5, you've got yourself a discount. And it's so hard to believe that at exactly this time, many moons ago, I was lying in exactly the same position.
Oh, boy. Here
as Lorelai recalls the thrilling experience that is childbirth.
While some have called it the most meaningful experience of your life, to me it was something more akin to doing the splits on a crate of dynamite.
And so comes the first of Rory's parties, and is about as uncomfortable as you expect. Lorelai is reunited with people from her past who don't exactly approve of her choice of lifestyle.
Seen you since
Your 7th month.
I was gonna say high school, but okay.
While she is able to have years to get used to this sort of thing, Rory, on the other hand, is very much trapped in a sea of strangers. She's pressured into talking to them by her grandparents, determined to maintain appearances, being mocked by the Chilton students at the party purely there out of obligation, including, of course, Paris, and Tristan, who does his absolute best to be as unlikable as possible.
So where's my birthday kiss?
It's my birthday.
So I'll give you a birthday kiss.
What is wrong with you?
This all proves to be too much for Rory when she is eventually made by Emily to give a speech.
I am not the hostess. You are. This is your party, and these are your guests, and I don't have anything to say to them.
Storming off, shocking Emily so naturally it's all Lorelai's fault.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay, how did this become my fault?
If there are any positives to this travesty of a party, it would be that Richard definitely seemed to be more considerate of Rory, though that's mainly down thanks to the connection the two of them made back in episode 3, even if he was mainly using this party as an excuse to discuss business.
Put that towards your trip to Fez.
Oh, Grandpa.
You're a good girl, Rory. Happy birthday.
Also, with rich friends comes a lot of checks. So the stress and accidental humiliation did have its perks. Rory comes clean about the Chilton issue, and what's less good is that this incident seems to have undone the work towards relieving the tensions between Lorelai and Emily, and made even worse by Emily seemingly to cut off both her and Rory. Despite trying to reason with her and Rory doing her best to apologise, even asking if she and Richard would like to attend the second party at their house, Emily's attitude proves too much for Lorelai.
Mom, your granddaughter invited you to her birthday party. Please, come.
I've already been to a party for my granddaughter, and she humiliated me in front of all my friends. And I did all this for Rory.
Well, that's not what she needed, Mom. What she needs is for you to accept her apology and come to her party.
It's another great Lorelai and Emily fight, though sadly it's too long for me to show much of it.
The whole pudding thing was just a fluke, huh? Trying to get to know us, easing up on the rules, smudging that bottom line of yours. You know, you're doing the same thing to her that you always did to me. You try to control her, and when that doesn't work, you just shut her out. I give up.
Oh, you give up? If I had $1 for every time you gave up.
Then you could pay for this party, couldn't you?
The following day, the two try to put the previous night behind them. Lorelai and Suki begin preparing the second party. Things seem to be going on the right track for this one, as it seems to be actually made for Rory, though the mass number of unnamed extras in the background does kind of undersell the contrast between the two parties, since the few characters we do know are right in the middle and everyone else is a complete stranger who we'll probably never see again. Fortunately, some more familiar faces arrive. Firstly, the grandparents. Emily deciding to swallow her pride and visit Lorelai's home, apparently for the first time.
Not once?
Not since we moved here. I mean, they'd come down and visit us occasionally when Rory was a baby and we lived at the inn, but they have never been here.
And, of course, Luke, the bringer of emergency ice.
Good rule of thumb is you can never have too much ice.
Emily is able to detect a strong hint of affection between Lorelai and Luke, so asks her daughter about what type of feelings she has for him.
Luke? I'm not seeing Luke. He's just a friend.
Mm-hmm. Seems to like you.
And you're judging this by what?
By the way he looked at you.
Which was how?
Like you were about to give him a lap dance. You're pleased that the Iceman looked at you like a porterhouse steak.
Sadly, we've still got a couple of seasons to go before we can cross that bridge, but it's a sweet moment between the two of them nonetheless. This topic must sadly be dropped for now. When Emily discovers Lorelai once suffered a significant injury, and she never knew.
It was no big deal, Mom. If I'd been really sick, you would have known.
This, combined with all the nostalgic stories the Stars Hollow's residents have about Rory's childhood.
Oh, I'm still crushed beyond belief that she quit her ballet lessons.
Pretty bad.
No, don't you listen to them. You had a true gift.
Brings her to a sad revelation.
Emily?
She's right. I don't know my daughter at all.
The guests depart, and as Lorelai and Suki start clearing up, Lorelai is shocked to discover that Emily isn't the only one ignorant about key moments in Rory's life. And so ends Rory's birthday parties. This was a standout episode for Emily. Aside from brief moments in the pilot, this is the first proper instance of the character showing off a more sympathetic and likeable side. Kelly Bishop does a stellar job as portraying this character who at face value is quite unlikable, but is hiding a more vulnerable side, crushed by social pressures and the grief she feels, never truly knowing her daughter. It's nice to see even the brief moments where she's able to take down barriers with Lorelai, even for a short while, since something like that is unlikely to last this early on. That's all for now. If you haven't already, please support the channel by hitting the subscribe button and turning notifications on in order to make sure you aren't missing out on any content. Also remember to like and comment. Follow me on Twitter here, and I'll see you next time for Kiss and Tell.
I guess I better go find Grandma.
Give her a minute.
There you are.
She'll find us.